Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another one of our summer virtual sessions. My name is Tara Stevenson. I serve as the Vice President of Student Affairs here at Flagler College, and I am personally very excited for tonight's session because I have had the chance to work with a lot of these individuals just within the division and get to see how much it's grown over the past few years and things like that. But just a couple housekeeping things before we have our um, guests introduce themselves. The recordings of all of our webinars, including tonight's, will be made available on the Flagler College YouTube channel. And so they've created a specific playlist for all of these. So if you've missed any of the past ones or you know you're going to miss some future ones, you can check out the recordings. They've also added them to the family portal if you'd like another central location. But the Q&A is up, and so if you've got any questions, we can absolutely answer those for you or ask our panelists. If we can't answer them, then we'll help direct you to where you can get some answers. But without any further ado, Bella, why don't you kick us off and introduce yourself and what you do here at Flagler?
Yeah. So my name is Bella Hennon. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Leadership and Engagement. And so I work in the Office of Student Leadership and Engagement. And in my role specifically, I assist with all of our student organizations. And then I also do lots of fun large campus programming that I'm sure will highlight some specific things exciting that we have coming up this year later on as we get into it.
And then Greg is going to make his way back here. So this is the perfect opportunity, Logan, for you to introduce yourself.
Okay. I'm Logan Gulledge. I currently serve as the coordinator of student engagement. I work in the Student Leadership and Engagement office. My primary role is that I oversee our Student Government Association. So any programming that they do, I oversee that and coordinate logistics with them. I oversee the many committees that we have in SGA, like our Public Relations Committee, Finance Committee, Student Activities, and Volunteer Services. So any programming, any events that they do off campus, I help them with that as well. And then I also serve and help Ashley and Isabella Hennon whenever they need me. So any other programming, I'm just kind of their right hand lady for whatever they need.
Wonderful. And then Greg, why don't you tell us about you and what you do with Campus Rec?
Hello, everyone. My name is Greg Snyder. I'm the Assistant Director of Campus Rec. My main responsibilities is I oversee both of our fitness centers as well as our waterfront.
And so, what we're hoping for tonight is just to give some different overviews for our families and students of these different areas, a couple different points and tidbits, and great little reminders for everybody. But we like to look at this as, you know, students are in class, they're here to study, but they also live here. And so, we've done the residence life discussion, and now it's time to figure out like how they find out who they are and who their people are and what connects them to the institution. And so, something that our Roar Up orientation attendees have been diving a little bit into is Saints Connect. And we've done a little bit of introductions to this, but if you guys could all explain kind of what that means and why those words are important for our students.
Yeah, well, I can start off and then Greg and Logan jump in wherever. But Saints Connect is our involvement platform. And so I really like to call it like a social media just for our Flagler students. So there's a community feed that you can put out messages if you're maybe looking for a roommate or if you found something. There's a lost and found tab. And so that's really great. But it also serves as like the home for all of our campus events. And so we put all of our events in Saints Connect and all of our student organizations and different offices on campus do that as well. And so it's a great place for you to just browse and see what's kind of happening on campus. And then the last thing that I'll highlight is it also hosts all of our student organizations have their own page on there. And so you can go on and see the active student organizations and then even actually message the officers and kind of get connected with an organization that way. And so it's really important because is a great resource that has all of the information kind of in one place. And it's great for us because we can kind of share some more in-depth information, especially about like our events and their locations, because it is a sign-on requirement in order to see those details. And so we can really share a lot of information with our students through that platform.
Definitely
Logan,
make sure you get comfortable with Saints Connect, that's definitely going to be your key to just being connected to every single part of campus, and everything's on there. So keep an eye on it over summer because you're going to start seeing some fun things pop up.
Yes, like Bella and Greg have already touched on a little bit, I find that personally my SGA students utilize it the most when they register for events. It kind of helps them keep track of what your week ahead looks like. So if you find yourself getting involved with a student organization or SGA or an event, it's kind of your one-stop shop so that you can kind of keep track of your week, keep up with what it's going to look like, and know those locations and things ahead of time.
One of the things that I absolutely love is the ability to kind of pre-register or RSVP for different events. One, my type A loves it. It'll send me a reminder 24 hours ahead of time about that event, and then I can also link it to my calendar. And so I think that that's a great way to see like where the other students going and what's kind of happening and exciting. And incoming students, they can access or begin accessing this when?
The
I
exact
think,
time, I was gonna say it kind of rolls out, so it goes on a continuous basis. So I believe that we should hopefully be close to up to date at this point. And so they should be able to log in. I don't want to
but
like
at
say
least be able to see the different organizations that are on
yes.
there and start kind of mapping out.
Yes, definitely. And you can actually go on and see also all of the events, a lot of the events on campus as well. And so our
Yeah.
families that are here with us can see the student organizations that are active without logging in. They can also see all of the events. They just can't see the specific locations, certain details like that.
Yeah. And the last thing to kind of plug with Saints Connect, like one of you mentioned, was the feed is a great way to connect with other students. And so we will offer some different shuttles to the airports or different events throughout the academic year, but sometimes students are wanting to ride share to further away places. And so they'll put in there that they're headed to the Orlando airport. Is anybody else going? Or they're selling a bookshelf that they don't want anymore. Does anybody want it? Or is anybody going to the local concert? It's just a nice centralized way to kind of connect with people. So let's dive into your specific areas a little bit more. And so let's start with student engagement. So Bella and Logan, just take us through what is student leadership and engagement here at Flagler and what can some of our students look forward to?
Yeah, so I'll start with two of our areas and then I'll turn it over to Logan to kind of talk about some of the areas that she helps oversee. But we kind of break our office up into four main categories. The first thing we have is our student organizations. So we currently have over 50 active student organizations. And for a smaller campus, that is a lot.
Yeah.
And they stress the word active because I think our student organizations host anywhere from probably 15 to 20 events every single week.
Mm-hmm.
So they love to do things on campus. We have them broken up into 8 different categories, and so they range from advocacy groups to honor societies to our sororities and fraternities, and different professional groups as well. And so it's a great way for you to get connected with students. In your hobby interest and areas and things like that. And so they don't necessarily have to be tied to your major. They can be something that you just really like to do. I know students, one organization that comes to mind is Read the Room. So if you're really into books, but maybe you're not an English major, that's definitely a great organization to kind of connect with and can kind of help you further your hobbies without it being your actual major.
Oh my gosh, like the photography club, when they
Yes.
started, they had photo shoots every week. And so people were learning a new skill, but also if they wanted to just participate in it. Like that one was so active and exciting when they started.
Yes, yes. And so they're one of our new ones that started this past semester, I think in January or February. And so, and that's another thing. So I always like to say that there's probably something in those 50 that you're somewhat interested in. But if not, you can always start your own student organization, and that's also done through our office. We do guide you through that process. We assist you as best that we can, but we also want you to kind of really create that organization because they are student-led, student-run, student-driven here at Flagler. And so the students have to want that student organization to be on campus. But we have guidelines and things like that that we can kind of help you with to start your organization. And then the second thing I'll talk about, which we'll get into some more of it a little later as well, as we talk about Welcome Week. but it's large campus programming. So in our office, I oversee our large campus programming, and so that can be craft nights, it can be trivia nights. It also is excursions. So we go to Halloween Horror Nights. We also do the Disney trip, which I know we'll talk a lot about. But we do that for our first year students. We usually do 2 to 3 other excursions that change throughout the year, but those are our 2 staple ones. We also do concerts, so we rent out the St. Augustine Amphitheater in the spring for Flagler Fest, and so we are excited. We're starting planning of that. We started a few months ago, so still in the works, but we're excited for next year. And we also get tickets to Sing Out Loud each year as well. And so this year, Sing Out Loud we have tickets for Saturday, and so that's going to be Viva Doobie as the headliner. Um, Harry Potter Week is another thing that we do throughout the year. That's the second week in November this year, so like the 10th through the 14th. And that's really exciting and a fun event to kind of look forward to on campus. So we do lots of different things. I always tell people that, you name it, we try to bring it, whatever that looks like. We did laser tag this past year on the West Lawn in the middle of the day, and it was so much fun. So we try to just bring a variety of different things and different experiences to campus, because the good thing here is that majority of the things that both of our offices do are free. And so while you're here, definitely take advantage of some of those free opportunities, because yoga is not always free. When you get to be all of our age, you have to pay to do stuff like that. So yeah.
Hey, so the other half of student leadership and engagement slash or student engagement office is the Student Government Association that I touched on a little bit before. So we like to provide many leadership opportunities for every kind of student on campus, and you can start with SGA if that's something you're interested in. So like I said, we do have our 4 different Senate committees that incoming students or any students really could come and serve on. So our public relations committee, they are kind of our social media gurus. They really keep our Instagram up to date, looking fun and fresh, getting those clicks, letting people know where we are at all the time, and doing fun recaps after events, which are my favorite because I love seeing the candid shots. I think they're really cute. And then we have our finance committee that really helps kind of budget out and place like what SGA's budget could allocate to help benefit the campus the most. And then we have our student activities committee, which is our largest committee. They help us with our programming that we put on every month. So one of our largest programs, I would say, is our de-stress day, which happens before finals week. It allows students to decompress and really relax before their finals. So we try to provide a fun food truck, a petting zoo, which is super fun. We're looking to add some more unique animals this year, so we're really excited about that. Um, and other activities from friendship bracelets, that's a popular one, just little crafts here and there, and some slides, some big
The shark
inflatable.
slide was like the highlight from this past spring.
Yes, we had this huge shark-shaped water slide, and
The
people were going
best.
down, jeans and all. Like we were just here for a good time. So that was really exciting, and we host that every semester. And that is something our student activities committee is hands-on in helping plan and set up. And so it's really cool. Their input for the food trucks is who we listen to. Like we really take them into consideration. And then our volunteer services committee goes out into the St. Augustine community and does service-based initiatives. Those are really fun and really enjoyable, a way to kind of get off campus and engage with your community. So one of my favorite ones previously was working with the Lighthouse to put up their Christmas decor, which was a really unique opportunity. So it was a way to meet, people in your community that's like a common tourist hotspot, but really get behind the scenes and really show students like what service initiatives can really benefit to you and the community. So that's a little bit about SGA, and we have 26 senators total seats available.
And I think last year, about half of them were our incoming first year students. And so
Yes.
they can begin applying to kind of get involved and start their leadership journey early.
Yes. Yes, we have a form available. We had them at our orientation, and we have a QR code on Saints Connect that actually takes incoming students directly to a little form that they can fill out with their name, any leadership roles they've had before. If there are none applied, that's totally fine too. And then maybe a committee they would be interested in joining. So that's a way to get involved just straight out the gate. Um, And then the last little portion of student engagement is our Greek programming board. So I had the opportunity to work a little bit with them during this past semester, and it was really fun. So that's I want to say our executive board that does Greek programming on campus, so Greek events, Greek life events. And so we have 3 chapters here at Flagler. We have one fraternity and 2 sororities, one local sorority, and then one nationally affiliated sorority. And they do all kinds of events in their own chapters and through the Greek programming board. So an example of one that we did this last semester was we did a fundraiser for Ayla's Acres, which is a local pet shelter. And we were able to do a dunk tank fundraiser. So we raised money and allowed students kind of get up in the dunk tank, dunk a Greek life member, and we donated those funds to Ayla's Acres. So that's kind of a brief overview into our engagement side of life.
Absolutely. And then there's different workshops that y'all will sometimes host. And so whether that's a leadership skill, or a lunch and learn, or maybe pairing with another office, you guys like to really hear from the students on what they're wanting, and help support, some of their initiatives.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and kind of shift it on over to Campus Rec. So, Greg, go ahead and tell us about this whole world. I've always looked at Campus Rec as this massive hidden machine where I may not see students regularly on campus, but I will see them 4 nights a week playing an intramural sport. But that you find a way to really engage with students that may not be involved in other things.
Exactly. Campus Rec has a whole lot going on this year. You all have a lot to look forward to. We have 2 fitness centers on campus. At our main fitness center, we're going to be offering plenty of group exercise classes. This year, we're going to be having bar, yoga, Zumba, HIIT class, and we're even having an intro to dance class this year. And those are all free for students.
Oh.
We also have a on-campus waterfront where we have kayaks and paddle boards. Once again, all free for student use. The dock itself is covered under a pier fishing license, and we have gear for students so everyone can come out and go fishing. To build on the outdoor rec a little bit, our director Alicia leads plenty of trips off campus to local state parks for camping trips, hiking trips, and she's even done alternative spring break trips where you get to work on the Florida Trail and build bridges, do some mowing. You can do a lot of impact. Intramural sports this year, we're going to be kicking off the season with soccer, followed by flag football, and then during the spring we'll do basketball and then softball. Campus Rec also oversees club sports, so we have a few starting out. We have a weightlifting club, golf club, sailing club, surf club, and we have a rock climbing club starting this year. If team sports aren't
Wait,
your thing,
boxing. Is boxing potentially happening, or more of like a kickboxing type of thing, or one of those clubs is partnering with a local kickboxing place?
so I believe there is a boxing club starting, but I believe it is under student leadership and
In the
engagement as a
works.
social
Okay.
club.
Yes.
But our weightlifting club has actually gone to other local gyms and done boxing lessons together.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe Boxing Club is still active. They really they became reactive around like the middle to beginning probably of April. And then they did re-register this past year. So I don't know that they were able to host a ton last year just because they weren't active for majority of the school year. But I think that they have big plans for the fall. So
But this is a great opportunity to talk about how some of these activities are underneath student leadership and engagement, and then those activities that wanted to be a bit more on the competitive level and maybe travel, some like our golf team and our surf team, they're underneath Campus Rec to get that support on how to be a little bit more of a competitive league.
yeah, and that's the biggest difference between because we do have technically a sports and recreation group underneath our student organizations, but those student organizations are mostly just for fun. They don't compete in any way or go outside of Flagler. They are just kind of recreational in the sense of I just love to box, so we're gonna go to Flagler's gym and we're gonna have boxing. Whereas like the weightlifting club, like Greg said, we just had our first ever weightlifter. I don't know,
Yes.
bodybuilder is the right word I'm looking for, compete. And so that's super exciting. Then our surf team always goes to California, I believe, to compete in nationals every year. So
Yeah. Greg, could you share a little bit about some of the other facilities that our students can have access to, maybe during open facility times?
Yeah, so the main fitness center, all you have to do, it is connected to the campus services building right across the street from the student center. All you have to do is walk in, scan your ID, and the floor is yours. You're welcome to use the group exercise room as long as a class isn't already in there. The other fitness center is located in the Commons in between A-Bear and FEC Residence Hall on the second floor.
And then what about our coordinator, Mike Roberson? What is his favorite activity to do with our students?
Mike Roberson oversees our intramurals, but Mike is our resident tennis professional. So you will definitely be seeing him at open tennis as well as open pickleball during the week.
And so that's where students will have access to some of our different facilities during open hours. And so, like our tennis courts, our gymnasium, um, they're kind of reserved for our athletics teams, but we also have them reserved for open time. So, if students wanted to do a game of, 3-on-3, or pickleball is really popular on Monday nights, and tennis is available, and he teaches a class, but he also just has open tennis twice a night, or excuse me, twice a week, for students to be able to do. We don't have any competitive tennis teams right now, but I'm sure they get pretty competitive out there on Tuesday and Thursday nights.
They definitely do.
And then I think you touched on it a little bit, but the dock, we've got students can go out on kayaks, and we provide all the equipment for them, life vests, things like that. We've got paddle boards, but also just kind of hanging out at the dock. What are some things that they can do just in that space?
Yeah, so there's plenty of seating back there, plenty of sunbathers. You're welcome to just hang out on the dock. We also do some programming back there. So we've done some movie nights back there, some karaoke nights. We've had some bands back there with some food trucks. There's plenty going on back there.
And I was gonna say, I love seeing the different students fishing or helping each other fish off of the dock. Can they fish off of the kayaks?
So we do allow fishing off of the kayaks, but that means that you do have to have your own fishing license. So we also prefer that you bring your own gear.
Gotcha. Noted. That's good for people to know. So obviously there's a whole lot going on. Your different areas are supporting what the students are doing in the classroom, what they're doing outside of the classroom, but really just finding ways for them to connect and find their folks. This wasn't on our agenda, but I am going to ask, like, what's just one little piece of advice that you all have for how a student could get connected on campus?
mine would definitely be take advantage of Welcome Week, and not just even specifically Welcome Week, but those first few weeks on campus. A lot of our offices are really active. Throughout those first weeks, we also have like Health and Wellness Week, which is like the second week of September, maybe the first week of September. And so that's why I say the first few weeks. But that's a great place for you to meet like-minded individuals and people that have the same hobbies and interest areas. You may not be interested in um, you know, going to the SGA block party, but you might find people there that have the same interests as you, or are interested in the same things, or like are people that you would get along with. And so that's a great way for you to just kind of get out there and meet new people, and get to know not just our campus, but then also some resources on campus and also your fellow classmates.
Definitely make sure to stay on Saints Connect. That's going to be your key. Don't let not knowing someone else that's going to an event stop you from going yourself. I think about all of our intramural sports. Just show up. You don't have to have a team already. If you show up, we'll get you on a team and you'll be playing that day.
That's one of the things that I love that our coordinator does is he has a free agent sign up. And so if you don't have a team or you don't have enough for a full team, you can come and they'll place you together so that you're able to enjoy it. And it's a lot of it is co-rec.
Exactly. So it's usually co-rec. If we have enough for like a all women's league, we tend to do that. But we tend to break it up into a more casual and a more competitive field.
Yeah, we know some people like to just, enjoy it, and others really need to, bring that W home.
Yeah, and I would honestly agree with Bella and Greg, but I would add on, don't be afraid to try at least one new thing that maybe intimidates you a little bit. Um, I've really been trying to get to staff yoga myself. I know I'm going to do it because I know that that's something I'm kind of interested in, but I'm a little nervous. So I would recommend doing that for students as well. And you will find your people here quickly. A benefit of Flagler is that it is a small, intimate community. So once you find your people, they will be with you through the ride, through the not sure if I want to do this, and through the yes, like we're definitely going to this. So just don't be afraid to try one new fun thing.
So y'all have teased a little bit about it, but take us through Welcome Week. I know that's really important for us as an institution. It's a Flagler tradition. Walk us through it.
Yeah, I'll start off because Welcome Week is kind of like my little baby. I so our office oversees Welcome Week in the sense of the planning, and we do host a lot of programs on it, but it really is a campus-wide initiative, and so we try to bring together as many different offices as we can on campus to host different programs just to say, welcome back. We're excited. We're ready for this year. Some of the things that I'm most looking forward to this year, we're starting the Flagler Amazing Race. And so that's going to be just for, well, let me back up. So our first year students will move in on Friday. And then our returning students won't move in until that Monday. And so that weekend is really a great opportunity for you to just to get to know your classmates and those students that you're kind of coming in with. And so what we've decided to do is throw some really great programs and events on that weekend. And so one of those is the Flagler Amazing Race. And so we are actually sending you around campus and then also downtown St. Augustine in order to just kind of help you get to know the area, get to see some of a few historic sites, and then also
And
you're
there's great discounts for students at a lot of these places, so start pulling
yes.
them in.
Absolutely. And so we want to highlight some of those local places that have those discounts for students. So there is going to be some fun treats on the way that you're going to
Love
experience and get to
it.
try
Okay.
throughout downtown. So
Taste testing.
exactly, exactly. Another thing that we're really looking forward to, that's a staple on Welcome Week, Meet the Greeks. So our three Greek organizations come together and host a Meet the Greeks event. It's going to be Wednesday night. And so that's a great place if you're interested in Greek life, just to come out. You can chat with both the sororities or the fraternity and get to know what their philanthropies are, what their missions are, kind of how they run things, and what it looks like to be a part of their organization. And then our rush looks a little different than what you see on TV. So we don't have, these big massive rush that starts weeks before school starts. It's actually either the second week after Welcome Week or the third week of classes that our sororities and fraternity have rush. And so they're a lot more smaller scale. They're a lot more low key. It's less formal, I guess, or stressful. It's very, very relaxing. I see head shaking. So
I like this. Yeah.
but yeah, so that's a great place if you're interested in Greek life. Definitely come to that. We've also got the Involvement Fair. So that is an event that we host every Thursday night of Welcome Week, both in the fall and the spring. And so that is where we invite all of our student organizations as well as all of our campus offices out to table. It happens on our west lawn. So the big open grassy area in the middle of our campus is filled with like 60 to 70 tables that we are so graciously, our maintenance department sets up for us. And students can go out there and just walk around and mingle and see what organizations we have and offices we have and kind of get to know our campus a little bit more. And so it can be slightly overwhelming, but we do always have maps. And so if you look on Saints Connect beforehand and know that there's a few organizations you're looking for, you can grab a map,
Target
find their
those.
table quickly, and you're not in a sea of 60 tables. And then the last thing that I'll highlight, and then I'll let Greg and Logan kind of highlight some of their things that they've got going on, is our Disney trip. And so our Disney trip is the oldest tradition that we have at Flagler. It started back, Tara, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think in 1972.
I think so. Yes.
I think it was 72 or 73. And so every year we take the first year students to Magic Kingdom. And so this year the tickets are on sale now. They're $140, but that includes your park ticket, your transportation to and from the park, a snack box that we'll give you at the beginning of the day. It's got water and things that won't melt in the heat of the bus, but it is great for you to have, on the way there for the 2-hour ride or the way home. And then a limited edition t-shirt. So we're actually doing a t-shirt competition as well this year. So up until the 16th, I believe it's in the family portal as well as the newsletters that go out each week. But if you're interested in designing a t-shirt, definitely send something in because we're excited about that. And the person who is picked as the winner will also get a free ticket to the trip. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
yes, we added that on. So that's exciting as well for our students. And it's a great way for you to just get to know your fellow classmates. Our orientation leaders also go on the trip with us. And for my families out there, I always tell you that we make sure that we get your students on the bus. They are free to go when they're there so they can do whatever rides or foods or things that they want. And then we also make sure that at the end of the night, we get them back on the bus and bring them back to St. Augustine.
It's one of the most fun traditions. I think our Marcom team did an amazing article last year that I would love for our incoming families and students of Disney through the years with Flagler because it has been a tradition. But I love hearing about the students that meet one another on that Disney trip and then they're still friends with them. Like our alumni remember this. There's a couple different events that really stick out to them, and the Disney trip is one of them. Yeah, anything else for Welcome Week?
I think I want to go ahead and highlight some of SGA's events during Welcome Week. So right after our incoming students move in on August 22nd, we will have that amazing race that Bella touched on. And then on Sunday, August 24th, we will have our SGA Sunset on the Lawn, which will be really fun. We're testing it out this year to see if it could be a tradition. But we're going to have a fun food truck there, and we are going to have some carnival-esque attractions that we're trying to secure on our West Lawn. So it's going to be really exciting, very aesthetically pleasing. So if
Priorities.
it works out, it's going to be something really spectacular and fun. And it's a great opportunity to interact with the student government. If you're even slightly interested, you can meet our executive board there and other returning senators. So that's a really great opportunity. And then on Wednesday, August 27th, which I believe is the first day of class, we have our SGA coffee and bagels, where it's kind of a mix and mingle on the first day of class. So you can stop by the Keenan Plaza and talk with us about SGA or talk about anything on campus. If you need directions to your classes, we can help. Grab a bagel and some coffee on the way. So that'll be some of our contributions to Welcome Week that we're really looking forward to.
At the waterfront, we'll be hosting a Rock the Dock event where we're going to have some band and some food trucks back there so everyone can come check it out for the first time. And at the fitness center, we're going to be having orientations where everyone can check out and view the fitness center for the first time throughout the week.
And so what I think is helpful during Welcome Week is there's a lot of open houses and a lot of different workshops from offices and areas across campus. So students can find out what Tinland Cottage is all about with our care team and our counseling center, grab a hippo pop and pet some of their little dogs that they're going to have out there for that. The Learning Resource Center will have an open house. Just lots of different, the library I think is doing something during that week. So it's a way to get to know campus if you've been here briefly for an admitted students day or an orientation, or perhaps this is going to be your first time at campus after move-in and to feel your way around and see what's out there. For questions about the Disney trip, whether it's tickets or getting there or different things, should they be emailing orientation@flagler.edu?
Yep, that email works.
Okay. And so if you've got questions on how to navigate that trip, orientation@flagler.edu is a great first step for that one. But I think we've touched on a whole lot with these areas. I mean, I know we could keep talking about stuff. Why don't y'all share maybe your favorite Flagler event or program that you have participated in before we do a couple reminders for the end of the session tonight? Well, I'm making you think.
No, that's hard. I feel like I've been a part of so many programs, but
Well, I will go first then. My favorite program has been when we did Back to the Future movie showing and we had the DeLorean come on campus. That was a few years ago. We got an ice cream and milkshake food truck and had a beautifully lit up DeLorean. As a Back to the Future fan myself, I felt like that was a fantastic movie night for our students to get to kind of experience.
I'll say Flagler Fest, especially I would say this past year. So we hit a lot of attendance numbers that we've never hit before with this past year's concert, and so um,
I
Big
mean,
X,
who was it? Let
yes,
everybody know.
Big X the Plug was great and exciting. We actually were able to get him to sign a few posters that we gave away then at De-Stress Day. So that was really cool for our students, but it's a great experience. And specifically this year, we were able to offer an Uber code, which I think really was a game changer, as some of the students have told me, for their transportation. Typically in the past, we had done shuttles, and so we were actually able to offer an Uber code to provide transportation to and from the AMP for the concert. And it's just a great event overall. We give away free t-shirts, we have free food trucks, and it's a great way for the community of Flagler to really come together. So you might see some familiar staff faces. It's an event that we don't have any of our student workers working, and so you will see some of your professors, some of us as well, student affairs staff, and some different members from our campus just out at night at the amphitheater helping you check in and get to where you need to go for the concert. And so that's always fun too.
Yes, I fully agree with Bella, not to steal her answer, but Flagler Fest has so much energy and so much excitement. Like everyone's just really excited to be there, especially with Mr. Big X the Plug. He was keeping it really hype, really upbeat. So that was super exciting. And I will also say one that I really enjoy and look forward to is also SGA's Fall Fest that they're starting to do because fall in Florida is a different vibe, but it's really fun. We try to make it super pumpkin spice latte vibes. We have it out on our west lawn, different crafts, different food trucks per usual. We love a food truck. But the weather is always wonderful. People bring picnic blankets, and it's just a really fun golden hour fall vibe that I really enjoy.
My favorite's always Harry Potter week, but especially the Triwizard Tournament. If you're familiar with Harry Potter, we emulate that Triwizard Tournament on campus, usually centered on the West Lawn, and we have a grand time.
I thought it
Love
was
it.
going to be
Amazing.
student versus staff basketball, Greg. That's what I thought your favorite
Oh, yes,
was.
that is another favorite
Yeah,
one.
those are the students' favorites when they get to beat up on us.
Well, a couple important dates and reminders. As Bella shared earlier, August 22nd, that Friday is move-in day for all of our incoming students. Greg, when do you anticipate group fitness classes beginning?
We're hoping to get group fitness classes kicked off the Monday before classes start.
Okay, so shortly after move-in, and students don't need to pre-register for them like some gyms do. They can show up.
No need to pre-register. All you have to do, beyond checking into the gym itself, is there will be a sign-up sheet right at the sign-in station. You just write your name and your student ID number, and then you're free to head on in.
Awesome. And then August 30th is the Disney trip, and tickets are available. And you mentioned July 16th is the deadline for when to submit your t-shirt design.
Yeah.
Okay. September 20th, we touched on this really quickly. That's the Sing Out Loud concert. It's a massive 2-day concert series that happens here in St. Augustine, and we are fortunate to be able to provide some tickets for our students. And so they'll see when they can claim their ticket early on in the beginning of the semester. And then November 10th will be Harry Potter Week, another big, huge tradition for the campus. And then, Logan, if anybody is interested in getting involved in SGA or hearing more about that Senate, serving in that capacity, or any of those other trips or things that you mentioned, how can they reach out
They
about that?
can reach out to our executive board members at sga@flagler.edu, or they can reach out to me personally, lgullidge@flagler.edu as well. They can also DM us because I've had a few people who are interested DM us on Instagram. So our Instagram handle is FC_studentgov.
All right. And all of your areas have Instagrams. And so if families and students want to see kind of what's been in the past or what's coming up, they can check those out. Another reminder, our next webinar will be on Monday, July 7th. I'm really excited about this one because this actually came out of the past few years webinar series where so many of our incoming students were interested in learning more about study abroad. And so for World Chocolate Day, I know you all are going to mark your calendars now, but July 7th is World Chocolate Day, and we will be chatting with our global education department and learning a little bit more about what that study abroad flagship opportunities are for students. But otherwise, we have some general emails that we can share out. Logan shared sga@flagler.edu. We have orientation@flagler.edu. And then Greg is at
campusrec@flagler.edu.
Campus Rec. Okay, I always want to get those two confused. So campusrec@flagler.edu. You can also always email any of them and we can help direct you to those others. But I'm not seeing any other questions. But I did want to say thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. And we look forward to seeing you at our next session. Thank y'all so much.